that money, buy cameras, and make movies. I always made a living so I could make movies. I never made movies to try and make a living. And I think that's a big mistake that a lot of newcomers do, is that they focus on how can my passion pay me? And I think that's a terrible place to start. If the reason why you're doing anything creative is to make a living, then you're doing it wrong. You get into it because it's a true passion. It's something you really believe in. Or don't get into it at all. What inspires me? You know, I don't really like the word inspiration. I like the word motivation. Because I think the working part always matters more than the inspiration part. Work is always more important than the idea. And as far as motivation, you know, I'm motivated by everything around me. I'm motivated by my kid. I'm motivated by other people's work. I'm motivated by the people that I work with. I'm like a sponge. I absorb the motivation to do my work from everything around me.
Style of videography?
Well, I think the key to vlogging well, and I think this is true to writing, to filmmaking, to any sort of creative capacity, any sort of field in the creative capacity, is that it's not how you tell it, it's what you tell. So it never has anything to do with what camera you shoot on. It doesn't have to do with camera tricks or high production or low production. It's what you're saying. That is the only thing that anyone will ever respond to. So the advice I give to newcomers or to aspiring filmmakers or YouTubers is that shift all of your focus from how to do it to what you're doing. What is it that you want to communicate? What drives you? And if that's what your focus is, I think you'll be a much more effective sort of communicator and creator than if you're someone who obsesses over what lens they should be shooting on.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know,
when I look back at my career, I see all of these tangents, and the tangents that have always yielded success were the ones where there was no established path, no defined route for me to take, but I went down it anyways. And through that kind of exploration, I always discovered something new. And those new things, those new entities, whether they be movies or ideas or things in my personal life, have always proven to be win. Life shrinks and expands in direct proportion to one's willingness to take on risk. And I think when it comes to exploring, the act of exploration is the act of assuming risk. The greater risk taker is the greater explorer. I never went to film school. I never sort of apprenticed under a filmmaker. I was never taught. I never had a mentor. I never had anybody that I followed. And the interesting thing that happens when you don't know the way is that you have to find the way. And I always get to the destination, which are these finished movies, but the path with which I employ is radically different from what's the norm. And again, that's not I don't take credit for that as some genius stylistic move. It's just I don't know. Like, I still don't know how to do proper titling. Like, my assistant editor did those titles, which is why most of the movies on my YouTube channel, all the titles are just handwritten on paper, and then the piece of paper is filmed. Because I don't know how to do it right. I don't know how to do After Effects. So all my animation is like shitty stop frame. And now, sort of in success, I have the opportunities to use all of the tools that were always so elusive to me. So now it's a much more conscious decision to maintain this sort of handmade aesthetic.